All right, let's talk about something that drives every creator crazy, staring at a blank page. Today, in this explainer, we're going to flip the script on writer's block. We're going to move from that feeling of frustration to the absolute confidence you get from having a solid content blueprint. It's time to stop waiting for inspiration to strike and start building for real impact.
You know the feeling, right? You're scrolling through your feed, through your email, and it's just a sea of sameness. The same posts, the same articles over and over. And it is so frustrating when you know you have valuable ideas, but they just aren't cutting through the noise or landing the way they should.
So here's the big idea, the perspective shift we need. The problem usually isn't what we're saying, it's that we were never taught how to say it. We obsess over the what, the perfect words, the perfect data point, when the real power, the real connection, comes from the how. It's all about the structure. This isn't just a writing problem, it's an architecture problem.
And that leads us straight into this first big idea, the content creation trap. It's a mindset that so many of us fall into, and honestly, we don't even realize it's happening. But getting out of it, it can change everything.
Okay, so on one side, you've got the writer's mindset. This is the one that tells us to wait for a lightning bolt of pure creative genius to hit. It sounds romantic, but let's be real, it's totally unreliable. But on the other side, you have the architect's mindset. An architect doesn't wait for magic. No way. They pull out a blueprint, they have a system, and they just start building. That's the secret to creating amazing work consistently.
So, if we're going to be architects, we need to know our building materials. I mean, what are the fundamental, non-negotiable parts of any story that actually connects with people? Let's break down those core components right now.
First off, you need a character. Every single good story starts with someone we can follow and root for.
But, a character just sitting there isn't much of a story. They have to want something. They need a goal, a desire. That's the engine that gets the whole thing moving.
And what makes that journey interesting? Conflict, an obstacle, something standing in their way. Because without that challenge, there's no tension, there's no growth, and, well, there's no story.
Because it's in overcoming that conflict that our character goes through a transformation. They start out one way and end up in a totally different place. That's the arc that feels so satisfying to us as an audience.
And that journey, that whole transformation, it reveals the theme, the meaning. This is the so what of the story. It's the big idea that sticks with the audience long after they're done reading or watching.
And finally, the thing holding all of these pieces together, making sure they all make sense, that is structure. It is the literal blueprint that organizes the setup, the conflict, and the resolution into a journey that works.
Okay, so we've got the building blocks. Now for the fun part. Let's get into some of the advanced blueprints, the actual frameworks you can use to put these blocks together. This is your toolkit for building some seriously powerful narratives.
First up is one you might not have heard of, the MICE quotient. It's kind of like a secret weapon from fiction writing. It forces you to ask, what is this story really about? Is it the milieu, the setting or world? Is it an inquiry, a question that needs an answer? Is it a character's internal struggle? Or is it an event that changes everything? Knowing which one is your focus is perfect for giving something like a case study or a founder's story that extra punch.
Next, we have the StoryBrand framework, which is a total game changer for marketing. The genius here is one simple, powerful shift. Your customer is the hero of the story, not your company, not your product. They are the hero. Your brand is just the wise guide who gives them a plan and helps them win the day. That one little change can clarify your entire message and make it resonate like crazy.
And for something that's just beautifully simple, you've got the story spine. This is the basic narrative skeleton that storytelling masters like the folks at Pixar use all the time. Once upon a time, every day, until one day. Because of that, until finally. It just works. It forces you to have a complete story arc, which makes it absolutely perfect for nailing a short video or a really compelling LinkedIn post. So having a toolkit full of cool frameworks is great. But, a real pro, a real architect, knows exactly which tool to pull out for which job. So how do we actually put these frameworks to work in the real world?
This is the million-dollar question, right? This is what separates the people who are just throwing content out there from the people who are being truly strategic. How do you decide? Do you use StoryBrand for a landing page, the story spine for that social post? Let's figure it out.
Here you go. Think of this as your cheat sheet. For something fast and punchy like a LinkedIn post, the story spine gives you that instant structure. For a deeper narrative, like a case study where you really want to find the emotional core, the MICE quotient is your best friend.
And for anything that's designed to persuade or sell, like a landing page, StoryBrand is perfect because it laser focuses your message on the customer's success. It's all about matching the blueprint to the build.
Okay, last section. Let's put all this together into a real system. How do you take this knowledge and turn it into a repeatable process? Your own personal content engine that just cranks out powerful, effective work time and time again.
It really just boils down to a simple 4-step loop. Step 1. Start with your business goal. What are you trying to achieve? 2. Provide the core inputs. Who's the audience? What's the key message? 3. Apply the right framework from your toolkit to generate a solid, structured first draft. And 4. Review and publish. That's it. Following this system makes sure that every single piece of content you create is strategic and well-built from the ground up.
And here's the ultimate payoff. When you really embrace this architect's mindset, you stop treating content creation like this frustrating, mysterious art form. You stop guessing. It becomes a predictable science. You stop waiting for inspiration to show up, and you start engineering communication that actually works.
So if you only take one thing away from our time together today, let it be this. Great communication isn't magic. It's architecture. It's about having the right plan, the right structure, before you even think about writing a single word.
So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. What could you really build? What kind of impact could you really make if you stopped waiting for inspiration and just started using the right blueprint? Thanks for joining me for this explainer.